Hi everyone. To start, I'd like to kind of share a bit of a personal story from my childhood when I was aging through, especially middle school and then through high school. I was an athlete doing multiple different sports at the time, and that basically means that I was eating almost everything that we had in the house. With that, I always found myself wanting second, third, and even sometimes fourth helpings. However, with that, my parents also made it a point that I always finish what I started, or that I always, was held accountable for the things that I was putting on the plate and to make sure that it was clean. In other words, being in the clean plate club by the time I was done eating. And so we're going to kind of discuss parts of the reasons of why this is prominent in America and why it is a little less prominent in European countries, especially, and why that could potentially be dangerous for the future. So, why exactly is this an issue? Well, whether it may be obvious to you or not, Americans love their food, and a lot of it to be exact. At some point in history, American society quickly adapted a so called large and luxurious lifestyle. From their cars, homes, highways, and meals, everything seems to be better when you have more of it or an abundance of it. Here in the States, located at almost every main intersection, is a wide variety of made to order fast food chains, restaurants that are constantly offering extra large, supersized, and shareable options to consumers. And this has been a historical, prominent U.S. business strategy, which has ultimately created a bigger is better mentality amongst this population. According to Barbara and others from various nutrition journals, portion size has significant links to obesity, along with the time spent eating and the actual nutritional value of the food that they are consuming. And as the American dream continues to be reinforced in society, Americans often find themselves taking advantage of this conveniency as they surround their life around work. They are getting off late. They're getting up, going to work early, stopping at Dunkin' or Tim Hortons, getting a coffee with sugar in it, a quick bagel, with processed meats in it, cheeses in it, and then going on their way, going into lunch, getting a quick bite from a fast food chain, going home and picking up fast food dinner for their families so that they can simply just be with them and enjoy them instead of making a home cooked meal. And if we consider this behavior to be a cultural trait, one could ultimately determine that as this increases in nature, this would ultimately promote an evolutionary shift amongst this population in America. And contrary to European countries who historically eat much smaller portion sizes, take longer to eat these meals, and have a healthier relationship surrounding food, bias conformist transmission, as long as geographical and cultural isolation has reinforced this unhealthy food culture across the states, which has subsequently expanded or aided in the expansion of the obesity epidemic. So, what exactly is cultural evolution and why do we care? Well, according to Charles Darwin, who was a British naturalist who proposed the theory of biological evolution by natural selection, simply defined natural selection as descent with modification. Or, in other words, evolution is known as a process that results in changes in the genetic material of a population over time. And moving into cultural evolution follows the concepts of culture as information which is capable of affecting one's behavior that they acquire from other members of their species through various modes such as teaching, imitation, and other various forms of social transmission. According to Crianza et al. In 2017, cultural evolutionary theory is significant as it has led to key advances in our understanding of the effects of non random mating, hinting that the transmission and dynamics of culture traits can and are sensitive to both phenotypic and environmental assorting. These principles are undoubtedly related to Darwin's findings, as Darwin outlined this similar concept in the domain of language. That is, in language formation and differentiation in that language may be seen to evolve in a similar fashion as seen as other aspects of human culture. And for our concern, this is can be related to food attitudes and food portion sizes. So exactly how different are the diets between Americans and European countries? Well, according to a professor from Rutgers who took her psychology students on a trip to Europe, the first thing she noticed was how small everything was when entering a bakery in a local neighborhood in Europe. Markey claimed that all of her favorite croissants and donuts and bagels were less than half the size of what she was used to consuming in America. However, this is certainly not all. Introducing the French paradox. As seen throughout literature, French in general maintain a diet that varies significantly than that of Americans. But exactly why is this? Both France and the United States are both developed Western countries. They are industrialized and where both health and appearance are majorly popularized. And based on this, one might expect that both countries would share similar morbidity and obesity related trends. However, this is not the case. According to Rosen, the French and American citizens have comparable cholesterol and saturated fat consumption. However, the French have significantly lower rates of cardiovascular disease. But exactly why is this? And well, there is a couple different hypotheses. And one is that the French legitimately just eat less. They eat smaller portion sizes. They take longer to eat. There is a significantly less portion size in supermarkets, in all-you-can-eat menus, and in cookbooks. Another hypothesis is that the life surrounding food is simply less stressful. Another is that genetics play a large role in that the European citizens generally have a faster metabolism. And however, my favorite hypothesis is that the French love three things, and they consume a lot of it. The first being cheese. The French love their cheese. They consume lots of it. Another, butter. One of my favorites, used in almost every meal. The French also consume a lot of this. But one of the most common and most prominent consumptions that really makes the French paradox is their ultimate love with wine. The French consume significantly much larger amounts of wine than Americans do, which has been shown to have linkage to decreased risk of cardiovascular disease. And with this in mind, and in relation to Darwin's findings, you would suspect that over time that the United States would see these trends and would adapt a similar diet and eating lifestyle that European citizens do, to eat lighter, to eat less, to maybe for employers to give longer breaks so that their employees can eat for an extended period of time instead of being forced to jam it down in 15, 30, and 45-minute breaks. However, that is not the case. The United States, particularly all of the politicians and people in power, view themselves as the gold standard, and that they are doing everything right, and that they are proud to be efficient, have high productivity, and which ultimately subsequently means that people are getting up early, they're going to work all day, and instead of coming home and taking more time and energy to make a home-cooked meal, that they are just being forced to eat made-to-order foods, and that with this, the United States has not adapted or evolved at all in this sense, and it's basically what I call is the gold standard of stubbornness. And with that, the United States has really just created a geographical and cultural isolation from other countries that have Mediterranean and the French paradox diet, which has been shown to be a lot healthier. Another factor is that of bias transmission, and in specific, assortative mating. According to Barbara and others in 2014, population genetics studies have the assumption that mating is random within a population. However, the cornerstone belief of sociologists alike is that individuals tend to prefer mates with similar phenotypes and behaviors, such as their hair color, height, socioeconomic status, education level, and body type. Which, if you take a U.S. family, right, and you have a male or female, Okay, and we're going to say that they are a little on the heavier side. They're stockier in nature. They are going to be more likely to be attracted and find a mate that is also a little stockier and heavier in nature. And so, with that, if these two mate and have children, they are ultimately passing down their genetics to their children and predisposing them to an increased likelihood of becoming obese in their future. Okay. And likewise, for a European family, who we'll say is a little skinnier and thinner in nature, who is going to pass down those subsequent genes to their children as well. Another is that observation and conformist behavior is also playing a significant role. So, for example, we'll take the same U.S. family, right, and we'll say that they are commonly going out to eat at fast food restaurants, and either the mother or father is ordering significant or more commonly the plus size eating option or the super size. They're getting extra large drinks, extra fries, saltier fries. Their child will pick up on that behavior, will observe that, and then will also demonstrate performance behavior later in life as well. So they are going to view that this is normal behavior, and they're going to continue to act like this when they are older as well. Likewise, with the European family, the child are going to see that they are taking longer to eat, they are eating less portion sizes, and they will later in life demonstrate this similar behavior, which ultimately will lead both of these families to have a higher likelihood of becoming obese in the U.S. family and having a lower chance of becoming obese in the European family. So the take home for all of this basically is that obesity is a significant problem, especially in America, but really all across the world. And that we could certainly learn something from the French and Mediterranean diets, which have lower rates of cardiovascular disease, obesity, and type 2 diabetes. Effects of geographical and cultural isolation, or really stubbornness, has played a large role in this, as well as biased or conformist transmission has increased this likelihood or the frequency of this trait and behavior in American society. Here are my references. Thank you for watching.